You wrote the big check. The digital screens are up across your entire network. Now comes the hard part, proving that money was an investment with a verifiable yield that offsets its footprint on your P&L. The only thing separating a profitable investment from a sunk cost is your ability to prove the yield with hard data. Most operators try to find this proof by pulling a standard sales report right after the installation is finished. This chart shows exactly what that looks like. You plot your installation date, and immediately after, you see a sharp upward spike in overall revenue. It is highly tempting to look at this line and declare the rollout a success. But look closer. Did the new screens actually cause that revenue spike, or was something else happening at the exact same time? That single line is hiding multiple localized events. You might have launched a new menu item, run a targeted regional promotion, or perhaps a direct competitor down the street just closed their doors. Without isolating the exact cause of the lift, you do not have an answer. You have a guess. Making your next major capital allocation decision based on a chart that ignores these overlapping events is a failure of analysis. Using a basic before and after snapshot to justify millions in technology spend conflates correlation with causation. It is, frankly, financial malpractice. The formal term for these overlapping events is confounding variables. A confounding variable is an outside influence that changes the effect of a dependent and independent variable. A modern enterprise environment is saturated with statistical noise. Because of this, establishing a stable measurement of baseline performance is incredibly difficult. An unseasonably warm weekend or a local discount code can artificially inflate your numbers, creating a false positive that makes a mediocre tech deployment look like a success. On the flip side, a sudden road closure or a harsh storm can suppress foot traffic, creating a false negative that kills an effective initiative before it even gets off the ground. The second major analytical failure operators make is timing. They pull their performance data far too early. In month 1 of a deployment, you are not optimizing. You are dealing with operational friction. Your staff and your customers are simply learning how to adapt to the new hardware. By month 3, the system is still in a state of flux. You're actively tweaking the software and adjusting the content to fit the physical space. Achieving reliable, steady-state performance takes time. It often requires up to a full year for the data to stabilize enough to read accurately. If you calculate your return on investment before hitting that 1-year stabilization mark, you are measuring operational chaos. The resulting data is useless. Accurate revenue tracking must be balanced against the expense side of the ledger, which requires calculating the total cost of ownership, or TCO. This chart illustrates the trap. That massive initial check you write for the physical screens and the installation is merely a down payment. Early financial models often leave out the recurring, hidden burdens that make up the actual cost of running the system over time. You have the continuous cost of content creation. Digital screens are hungry, and they require a constant stream of high-quality asset generation to remain effective. Then there is the unavoidable operational drag. You have to pay recurring software licensing fees and fund the physical hardware maintenance across a highly distributed network. These recurring expenses stack up every single month. They push your break-even threshold much further into the future. If an operator fails to factor this full total cost of ownership into their initial model, their entire return calculation is mathematically invalid from the moment the screens turn on. To fix this, you need a disciplined, repeatable framework, a 4-step process designed to replace guesswork with isolated, factual data. Step 1 is establishing a strict historical baseline. This is a non-negotiable prerequisite before you deploy a single piece of hardware. You must isolate 3 to 6 months of clean operational data from before the digital signage was introduced. The math here is simple. You cannot measure incremental progress if your starting 0 point is undefined. This leads to step 2, control groups. This allows an enterprise to test new hardware against identical, untouched locations. You turn on the new technology in your test locations, but leave your control locations untouched. For this to work, every other variable must remain identical across both groups. Promotions, menu pricing, and regional marketing cannot change. Because both the test and control groups experience the exact same external market noise, that noise effectively cancels itself out in the final comparison. Using strict control groups is the mathematical way to isolate the true financial impact of your screens from everything happening in the local economy. Step 3 is tracking the right metrics. It is a mistake to only look at your final top-line sales figures. The true financial yield of digital signage often hides in operational efficiencies. You need to measure whether transaction times are getting faster or if overall order accuracy is improving. Step 4 calculates the cumulative return on investment. This tracks a scenario with an initial $50,000 investment. Year 1 proves an attributable $30,000 gain, a negative 40% ROI. By year 2, efficiency generates another $35,000. Return on investment is not a single snapshot in time. It is a continuous, multi-year calculation that builds upon itself. This cumulative math allows us to define the exact moment your investment crosses the threshold into profitability. This precise, multi-year payback period is the only clean, verified metric your finance department cares about when deciding whether to authorize future technology deployments. The mathematics of this 4-step framework are sound, but the reality of executing it manually across hundreds of locations is an operational nightmare. Forcing your analysts to manually pull point-of-sale reports, clean massive datasets, and align disparate timelines in spreadsheets almost always results in failure. To achieve true, verifiable attribution at an enterprise scale, the entire isolation and testing process must be automated. This requires a dedicated tooling layer. This diagram shows a platform like SeenLabs, which is designed specifically to run this exact measurement framework in the background. The platform integrates your screen hardware directly into the point-of-sale register. It automatically runs the A/B tests between your control and test groups, aggregating the data without human intervention. Transitioning from optimistic assumptions to automated, verifiable attribution is the only way an enterprise can effectively manage, justify, and scale its continuous technology spend.